Hi there. This is Dr. John Whitcomb talking about apoptosis and congestive heart failure. Really sort of an interesting idea. Apoptosis is the orderly dismantling of old senescent cells. And congestive heart failure is a problem with apoptosis. And there's pretty sophisticated physiology we can figure out. Now, when you're a 25-year-old, you replace about 1% of your heart cells per year. When you're 75, you only replace 0.5%. That's a problem. You aren't replacing them. And what happens, you have a whole sequence of things where you want healthy organs have to have quiescent cells in them. They're available, ready to respond. In the heart, you're never waiting. They're never quiet. They're always pumping. But follow the idea. Versus senescent cells. And senescent cells are zombie cells. They're no longer responsive. And what's really happening is the mitochondria conversation inside each cell. There's a conversation between the mitochondria and the nucleus. It's saying, I don't have enough energy. I need help. Now, the mitochondria itself only have 37 genes. They probably used to have a couple thousand when they were first a bacteria, but they've now, over time, they've only hung on to the 37 genes with which they make second-to-second accommodation. The other 1,000 or so that it takes to duplicate themselves have to come from the nucleus. So there's a constant conversation going back and forth. It's the quality of that conversation that decides if the mitochondria lives or dies. And if it dies, the organism dies. So death is decided by your mitochondria, which is a mind-boggling concept. Well, it's that too much apoptosis is what congestive heart failure is. It's happening dysfunctionally. You're not replacing yourself. We now know that there's only 3 things that increase that conversation to make it better. Exercise, fasting, and growth hormone. And those things improve that, but the problem is growth hormone has its separate problem we can't go into on the side. Now, David Sinclair in his book Lifespan comes out with a trick that might be the 4th. It might be exercise and fasting wrapped together. And that is taking NAD, the fuel that basically niacin, vitamin B3, but it's the fuel your sirtuin proteins need to run on. And metformin, which it's a diabetes drug, but it's repurposed and has a second function. Its second function is it turns on the cellular messages that you need to become quiescent and healthy and responsive. And it's predicated on having NAD energy to work with, all wrapped up in how well the sirtuin proteins work. Fascinating. Read David Sinclair's book. What have I done? I've started taking metformin and NAD every day as a supplement to my living longer. I think you should too. David Sinclair started a randomized placebo-controlled trial. We'll know the answer in 10 years. If you can wait 10 years, hold off. But NAD is just vitamin B3, and metformin is a drug from a French lilac flower. So it's just a flower, a plant herbal extract. Nature figured this out for us. We should all be on it. Dr. John Whitcomb, News and Nutrition.